Hey everybody, welcome back. So you'll be pleased to know I have now got the internet properly, so I will be back to putting out more regular content. It's been a really strange few weeks packing up and moving across the country. We're settling in really well. It's now beginning to look like a home rather than an Amazon warehouse, and I'm beginning to find things like I've started finding all of my fairy lights. Not making my husband that happy, but making me super happy. So I hope you're all doing well, and most of you got a chance to watch a little bit of Troop in the Colour, because I tell you what, the weather was glorious. It was beautiful. So this Troop in the Colour, which is the King's official birthday, this is his third as monarch now. And as I said, you couldn't ask for better weather, which allowed for an incredible fly past that saw the Red Arrows, a Lancaster bomber, and Chinook helicopters, to name a few, take to the skies, much to the delight of the huge crowds. All those gobby people that say we want a republic, we don't want the royal family, I'm sorry, the amount of people that always turn out to see the royal family events is absolutely huge. It's huge for tourism, it's huge for the amount of money that it brings into the country. They are worth every penny. But what did make me laugh was you had the Republican Party chanting "Not my king" with their little yellow signs, and the public made it known what they thought of that. The procession this year that sees the royals appear in carriages to go to and from the Horse Guards parade was led by Sophie, the Duchess of Edinburgh, and Vice Admiral Sir Timothy Lawrence, who is Princess Anne's husband. They were then followed in carriages by the Duke and Duchess of Gloucester, and then after a short procession we then saw the King with Queen Camilla as they came out, and they were then followed by Princess Anne, who is the Colonel of the Blues and Royals, her first official event back on horses after she had a nasty incident that resulted in her suffering from concussion. She was riding her trusty steed called Noble. At the side of the Princess Royal, we saw the Duke of Edinburgh, who's Colonel of the Scots Guard, and of course Prince William, who is the Colonel of the Welsh Guards. They made quite the magnificent trio, and they were then followed by the Princess of Wales and their three adorable children, Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and Prince Louis. We were really spoilt this year with lots of fantastic photographs. Last year when it rained, we couldn't really see that much of them because they were inside carriages. I mean, if you remember, the heavens actually opened and the carriages started steaming up. But this time we got to see them in all of their glory, and Catherine looked truly lovely in a beautiful turquoise number, and Princess Charlotte was coordinating with her mother perfectly. Once they had arrived at the Horse Guard parade, the children were escorted inside to watch the military procession from the windows upstairs with other members of the royal family. You can see the Duke of Kent here, who was filming the parade on his mobile phone. Catherine stood to the side of the King and Queen on the dais in her role as Colonel of the Irish Guards. As part of the royal uniforms this year, members of the royal family were seen wearing black armbands, and there was also a minute's silence to remember all of the people that had sadly been killed last week in a horrific plane crash in India that was en route to the UK. The Duchess of Edinburgh looked lovely in green, with Queen Camilla in white and Catherine in turquoise. They all coordinated beautifully. The mainstream media were desperately trying to compare Catherine's outfit to Diana, and they came up with one that was, I would say, a tiny bit similar, as in it was turquoise with a bit of white on it. But people were quick on Twitter to actually find Queen Elizabeth also dressed in turquoise, representing the colour of the Irish Guards, looking over her shoulder at her husband Prince Philip. And then we have this photograph of Catherine looking on and smiling at her also very handsome husband as he rode in. How beautiful is that to see them side by side? It's another royal love story, a genuine royal love story that will stand the test of time, and I'm certain that Catherine and William will have as many happy years together as the Queen and Prince Philip did. Now, Prince Louis, the boss baby, he looked to be having a wonderful time, and he kept kept waving at the crowds on the balcony once he realised that the crowds would cheer louder. Big brother Prince George eventually intervened and told him to stop waving. Now, it was an extra special treat yesterday, which was Father's Day in the UK, because we got to see another couple of photographs showing how sweet and affectionate that the children are. The Prince and Princess of Wales shared these two lovely images, and I love the way that Charlotte is hugging Louis in this. It's adorable. Clearly this was taken on the same day as the photographs that were released for Prince Louis's birthday, because you can tell by the gap being a lot bigger here than what it was when he was smiling up on the balcony, where his bigger teeth are now beginning to come through. I love the fact that Catherine and William, despite the way that they have been treated over that Mother's Day photograph, still share beautiful photographs with the public. These are personal photographs, ones that you would expect them to have in their family album. And I think it is really special that they share these intimate moments, and it just shows that you can see how close and affectionate that the royals really are with each other. And it's not just the photographs on Father's Day, which saw the King share a lovely one of Prince Philip playing on the swings with him when he was younger with his sister Princess Anne. We also got to see a lovely moment on the balcony with the King looking on proudly at Prince William, as Prince William was proudly looking down at his youngest son, who was behaving impeccably. He was particularly adorable throughout Trooping the Colour. Especially this photograph when a gust of wind caught his hair and he just had this beautiful grin. It looks to me like all of the children thoroughly enjoyed themselves, and you would think that it could be a little bit intimidating, but I think this is the way that Catherine and William have gradually introduced their children into royal life. First of all, it was the two eldest children, and then they gradually introduced Louis, and as I said, on the balcony waving, he was having the time of his life. Now, it did come as a bit of a shock, I think, to most of us, that we didn't get a car park paparazzi strut by Meghan. In fact, even when Father's Day came, she was, silent for most of the day. Eventually, towards the end of the day, she then posted a video on her Instagram of lots of personal family footage. To be fair, a lot of it was when the children were a lot younger, and it looks like it's reused stuff from Netflix or bits and bobs that they've kept in the bank. We did have some more recent footage of the children, of course, just the backs of them. And I just don't understand why they bother sharing it at all. Keep your personal family footage to your personal family albums. It's clearly obvious that the children are now allowed to be shared with the public because they are desperately scrambling, trying to get some positive coverage. Now, Harry did make an appearance himself on Father's Day, and again, this is something that is honestly laughable and hypocritical. Harry has made an appearance wearing all of his shiny medals as he shared a video message to mark Germany's first ever Veterans Day. Harry has somehow self-appointed himself as a global ambassador for all veterans because of his works with the Invictus Games, which we know was created by the royal family, to give him something positive that he could sink his teeth into, especially when it came to publicity, because he was just getting himself in more and more trouble and had a reputation of being nothing more than another playboy prince. I honestly find it laughable that not only Harry is in the garden again, it's like, well, he couldn't hire the studio for the day. It could be a green screen at this point. These videos look so artificial that some people believe it's actually AI. But it's the fact that he's wearing all of his medals. Now, he is wearing 4 medals here. Only one of them was for his active service in Afghanistan. But as for the 3 other medals that were gifts from his grandmother that were gifted to all other members of the royal family that have never served in the military, it's a way to have said thank you for being loyal to the crown, to the Queen, and obviously Harry has been anything but loyal to his grandmother and even her memory. Harry trashed his entire family with the worst accusations when his grandfather was in hospital weeks from death. He took part in a Netflix show that tore apart not just his family, but everything his grandmother had worked hard to achieve. He tried to damage her legacy. It's bad enough that both she and Philip went to their graves with all of those allegations of racism, mental cruelty, suffering that was apparently inflicted on his shy and delicate wife, that turned round and said, "I don't need to coddle people," but demanded that everybody coddled her. Both he and Meghan have made it very clear over multiple interviews that they believe it to be an archaic institute that traps family members so they can never leave, that they barely escape to their freedom with their lives. It was a tale right out of a Hans Christian Andersen book, and much like Hans Christian Andersen, it's completely fictional. Harry and Meghan designed their tales of woe and drama and cruelty to cause maximum damage because they were throwing their toys out of the pram that they couldn't get what they wanted when they quit. The public no longer see Harry as a royal. The royal family don't even speak to him because of all the awful things that he's said and done. All for a paycheck. He did it all for money. Whether he thought or was advised that it would be a good thing to get out there in the open, he betrayed his family in the worst possible way. And in choosing that path, he betrayed Queen and country. He's since gone on to betray King and country, and he's gone back on the oaths that he swore to abide by when he joined the army in the first place. To be stood there pretending he's still a senior royal representing the crown, because that's what those medals are for. They are a thank you for showing loyalty to his grandmother, who he went on to betray right up to her death and has continued long after. Harry is committed to self-service, not public service. And they keep trying to remind people that they're titled, that their children are titled for monetary gain. It came out in a story recently that Harry and Meghan believed that the king and the royal family were intervening, trying to stop Archie and Lily being able to get their passports. Obviously, this isn't true, but these are the sort of wild accusations that Harry is still levelling at his family. But what the story did bring forward with that accusation is the fact that Harry and Meghan have ensured that their children's passports reflect not just the fact that they are prince and a princess, but they also have his and her royal highness. For Meghan, this is nothing more than a marketing strategy. For Harry, well, that's where I do wonder about the state of his mental capacity, because they have told sources to brief the press. In this instance, it was The Guardian. So this is a story that came directly from their camp, that Harry and Meghan want the children to have their full titles reflected. They want them to retain that. So when they get older, they can decide if they want to be working royals. I'm sorry, what? I think those two must live at the back of a big wacky backy farm. I seriously do, because those fumes must be wafting over because they are both completely off their rockers. Why on earth would they want their children to join an evil, racist, archaic institute that crushed their mother's soul so badly that she wanted to take her own life? And when they reached out for help, they left Meghan to struggle, to the point that Harry knew the only thing he could do to save his wife's life was to escape for freedom. Harry's tales of woe is the cold, unloving family that he was born into, that is so steeped in protocols that they don't even show each other love or affection. That Harry, being a working royal, he was used in such a way like a performing monkey, forced to travel abroad, that he near enough suffered a burnout. It was only Meghan who came in and saved him when they managed to escape with Babe in arms. These are the stories that they have spent the last 5-6 years telling to damage the monarchy. Now they want their children to go back to the evil institute where the royal household, the nefarious organisation, resides? Is he not concerned for the safety and the mental well-being of his kids? It goes to show that Harry and Meghan lied, and they are now at a point where everything has failed. They have completely screwed up every opportunity that has been given to them to make something of themselves, to carve out their path. They have tanked completely on a worldwide global stage, and they seem to be amazingly tanking, or should I say twerking, even further. Now, just because Harry and Meghan claim those titles for their children and they've insisted that they be called HRHs on their passport, does not mean that when the children turn 18 that they can sign up to being a working royal like it's a gym membership. But even if they do view it as a gym membership, Harry and Meghan quit their gym membership and then tried to burn down the entire company. The children are being brought up in another country, a country that fought a war to abolish its links to the British monarchy. The children have never met their grandfather, the king. I don't believe that Charles got to see Lily when she was a baby, but he did get to see Archie. He's going to have no memories of that or the country that he was born into. The children have no idea what it's like to grow up in the royal family. They're not allowed to see their cousins, their uncles, their aunts, one uncle who is the future king. Why on earth would the children want to go anywhere near the royal family? Because they're going to be brought up like their life is a big Disney tale and the evil institute near enough killed their mother and their father, a prince, came in and rescued her. The idea that they would just be able to walk in and pick up where their parents left off, it's just as ridiculous as Harry and Meghan when they didn't realise when they quit their jobs, giving the Queen 10-minute notice, that they wouldn't be allowed to take all the perks with them. They expected the Queen to give them the keys to Frogmore so they can come back and forth and have a base whenever they want, that they could have taxpayer-funded lifestyle, security, global security for when they travel abroad doing jaunts, whilst they still carved out a career earning money, merching off of the fact that they were members of the royal family. They were shocked when the Queen said, "Not on my watch." So those two are not exactly going to bring their children up with the values that they would need and the scruples, because they have none themselves, to be a member of the royal family. Harry and Meghan have become a total joke. They are a parody of themselves. They are utterly clueless why they lost the support of the majority of the public, why they continue to lose support, why many people were completely disgusted by their actions, and now they think because it's not worked out for them how they wanted to, that they can bulldoze their way back into the royal family by pushing this narrative that they still somehow represent the monarchy, or that their children one day might. Well, all I can say there is no amount of Meghan forcing people to call her a duchess, no amount of monogram styled letters and correspondence that's posted to her Instagram account, no amount of Meghan prancing around giving interviews like she's the Princess of Montecito are going to change the fact that the royal family do not want them and they are not needed. And no amount of temper tantrums, throwing their toys out of the pram and giving interviews are going to change the fact that they have got exactly two hopes of getting back into that family. One of them is called Bob and the other, well, I think we know. So guys, that's it for me on this video. I will be back with you very soon. I have already written out the next video because we've got lots of royal news. So join me tomorrow and I will see you then. Take care for now. Bye.